Yizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now, listen, man, salute to all my day one investors. You already know, man, time and energy is the highest forms of currency. Time and energy is the highest forms of currency. So salute to everybody that comes into this channel, comes into this page and invest their time and energy. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't asking for no handouts. Time and energy is the highest forms of currency. So I want to give a big salute to everybody that's going to tap in. I want to give a big salute to everybody that's going to tap in afterwards. You understand me? Now listen, check this out. If you can hear me, put a 100 in the chat. I like to be sure that everybody can hear me, that it's loud and clear before I get started. So, like I said, man, salute to everybody that's going tap in. Salute to everybody that's rocking with the channel. I see all the DMs. I see all the comments, and I try to make sure I get back. I try to make sure I'm engaging. Let y'all know I see y'all. But I do a lot of scoping and scheming and watching, and I see the comments. I see the DMs. If you can hear me, put a 100 in the chat just to let me know we loud and clear. Feel me? Yeah. Big GMB TV. Big GMB TV, the Oracle. Don't you forget the TV. And you better always remember the Oracle. Salute. Salute, my G's. Listen again. We going to lock in. Now, I always like to go ahead and put the link in the chat just in case anybody wants to speak their mind. But I know you see the title. I know you see the title, my G's. We're gonna chop game today. Salute. Appreciate that. That 100 in the chat. Let me know you can hear me loud and clear. Now listen, you see the title, you know, hating on New York City. Hating on New York City, man. I've been getting a lot of comments. I've been getting a lot of DMs from people out of New York. Salute to all my New Yorkers. Salute to all my East New Yorkers. You already know. I like to give big shout outs. I like to salute. You understand me? Real definitely recognize real, and they in the DMs and they in the comments and they saying, bro, stop hating on New York. Stop this, that, and the third. One, two, three. X, Y, and Z, and it got my wheels turning. It got my wheels turning, and it made me want to come up here and address that. I want to address that because I don't want you guys to get, me destroying Lil Zippy with the drippy, me putting Lil Zippy with the drippy in his place. I don't want y'all to confuse that for hating on New York. I don't want y'all to confuse that for any bad feelings or any hate towards NYC. And again, when you come to this channel, you already know we coming from multiple different angles. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. So, scratching the surface, you just looking at it like hating on New York. But that in itself got my wheels turning. You know what I'm saying? Because it gets deep, it gets wicked, my G's, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface. And here at Grown Man Business TV, we are definitely scratching the surface. But we want to talk about hating on New York City. It's something that got to be approached. Now, again, like I said, don't get the whole Zippy with the drippy situation confused. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against New York, but we had to check Lil Zippy. You feel what I'm saying? But you know, being an 80s baby, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand something. I'm an 80s baby, man. I'm an early 80s baby at that. I know I look young, but dogs, I'm a OG. I'm a big dog. So I remember, you know, how aggressive New Yorkers used to be when we was coming up. How cocky New Yorkers used to be when we was coming up. See, one thing for sure, two things for certain. The whole New York situation is deep because New York has lost its identity. New York lost its identity a long time ago. When I was growing up, New York had its own identity. New York City stood out from everything else. You understand what I'm saying? And that in itself made New Yorkers very cocky. New Yorkers were very cocky. And now, sitting back, watching the comments, listening to the, people from New York in the DMs, speaking their mind. It's just made me think, like, when did New York become so sensitive? When did New Yorkers become so sensitive? When did it become a thing where New Yorkers, guys and women and people from New York became so sensitive at other people critiquing New York? Now, that's a question, right? But I definitely got an answer for you. I got an answer for you. Because again, when I was coming up, New Yorkers were cocky. New Yorkers had their own style. New Yorkers had their own ambiance. Like, you couldn't duplicate a New Yorker's style, and the mystique of NYC. The Big Apple. You know what I'm saying? The city of big dreams, big buildings, bright lights, and if you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? New Yorkers had that thing and they lost it a long time ago. And now we're looking at the remnants of that. The remnants of that is New Yorkers are sensitive. Hella sensitive. Now let me give y'all some, especially for you youngsters that don't, was born in the mid 2000s and the late, 19. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. To you youngsters, right? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So back in the day, New Yorkers were so cocky. They would venture out of New York and go to all these other places to make money, right? And if you wasn't from New York, then to New Yorkers, you wasn't cool. You understand? You was from the South, especially for us country boys. You understand what I'm saying? New Yorkers, they call people country bumpkins. New Yorkers would say, man, you from the country, man. Y'all country slow, man. New Yorkers always talked down. When it came to the West Coast, they would say, man, we ain't dealing with these Jerry curl wearing, you know what I'm saying? These boys wearing Jerry curls. They ain't from New York. New York this and New York that. And back in the day, it was never a problem for New Yorkers to just be as cocky as they wanted to be. It was nothing wrong for New Yorkers to critique other areas, to say how they felt about the South and say how they felt about the West Coast. It was never a problem. So it's mind-boggling to me that when you speak against New York, if you say something, or not even speak against, but if you critique New York, salute my G's. If you critique New York, if you say, man, New York is washed up, man. New York ain't like it used to be. If you say anything about New York that's not praising New York City, they take that as you hating on New York City. They take it as hate. But how about all the times that New Yorkers, for all the years, New Yorkers was hating on other areas. New Yorkers was hating on the South. New Yorkers was hating on the West Coast. They was hating on the Midwest. See, one thing for sure, two things for certain. The tables always turn. The tables always turn, and it's never fun when the rabbit has the gun. And this is what's happening with the whole New York situation. It doesn't matter how much praise you give New Yorkers. It doesn't matter how many times you say salute to New York and salute to Brooklyn. As soon as you say, man, New York got a rat infestation problem. It's a lot of rats coming out of New York, D. It's a lot. New York ain't like it used to be. Oh, now you're hating on New York. And again, I had to sit with this because I said, yo, is it even worth giving dialogue about? Is it even worth talking about? And I came to the conclusion, yes, it is definitely worth talking about, my G's. It is worth exposing. Because again, a lot of people are not articulate enough. They can't put their words together the right way to get the message across. But when you come to hear Grown Man Business TV, you already know how we giving it up. You already know how we giving it up. So when did New Yorkers become so sensitive? Yeah, I can dig that. You know what I'm saying? When did New Yorkers become so sensitive? I don't even think that is that. I think that anybody speaking on NYC, I done expressed to my New York subscribers that I done been in and out of East New York. I'm talking about geographically. I done broke down areas in East New York, all the way up to New Lots and the 3 trains, stopping at New Lots, walking up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, Linden Projects. I'm talking about I take the 3 train to Utica, do some business in Utica, get back on the 3 train, take it all the way up to 92nd in Columbus, up there in Spanish Harlem, and handle business. So when it's coming from me, somebody that obviously knows something about New York City, somebody that obviously been in the trenches of New York City. I'm not from New York City. Most definitely, this is Norfolk, Virginia, big 757 when it come to me. But I done did a lot of business in New York City. I'm somebody that can speak on New York City. I'm not one of the people, and this is the thing too, even with that, right? It was New Yorkers, when I was coming up, it was New Yorkers that had never been to the South that had their mind fixed on what the South was. You had New Yorkers that had never been to the South, but they still felt like, hey, them boys is country slow. Those is country bumpkins. It's New Yorkers that ain't never been outside of New York that still feel like New York is somehow better than the South, somehow better than the West Coast. And I like to give New York its props because, again, before Biggie Smalls lost his life, New York had its own identity. You understand me? North Face jackets, Timberland boots, camouflage, the Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, New York was a powerful structure and pillar in hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? But these other areas was just as strong. They was just as strong, but New Yorkers wanted to stand on New York. So why is it a problem when us Southerners want to stand on our? We don't want to be like New Yorkers. We ain't feeling certain things that's coming out of New York, and we speak on it. Nah, my G. Nah, Mellow BX. Trust me what I'm telling you, man. Trust me what I'm telling you. And only, I guess, like real New Yorkers will stamp that. Real New Yorkers know. Back in the day, New York, if a New Yorker try to make you feel like if you ain't from New York, you ain't cool. You ain't X, Y, and Z. And they got away with it for a long time. They got away with it for a long time. The big city of dreams. If you can't make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Like, come on, man. You knew that. You know how New Yorkers used to talk about dudes in the country. Let me give you a prime example. Let me give you a prime example of what I mean, right? New York, people from New York, obviously, if they couldn't get no money in New York, they would come down south. And they just automatically thought that they could come down south, set up shop, and make money in anybody's neighborhood, right? Because they was from New York. You understand? And a lot of New Yorkers did that. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, they don't talk about all the New Yorkers that didn't make it back to New York, coming down to Virginia, coming down to Maryland, coming down to DC, huh? Setting up shop, thinking that because we from the South or because we country or X, Y, and Z, y'all could just come down and take advantage of the territories. When did New Yorkers become so sensitive that you could say something about New York and it's automatically you hating on New York? New Yorkers wasn't that sensitive back in the day. Actually, back in the day, back in the good old days when New York was New York, they didn't believe you. You would need more people. You could tell them in New York they didn't care, bruh. Yeah, well, times change. Everything does change. But when did it become cool? A lot of things that's happening in New York City, everybody can see it. All the way down to Tekashi 6. I mean, it's so many different variables that's taking place in New York City as we speak. And if we speak on it, right, and it's not in favor of New York City, then we hating on New York. We hating. I wanted to be the one to set the record straight with that. Ain't nobody hating on New Yorkers, man. New York had its time to shine. New York had its time to be on top. New York had its time to be the trendsetter. New York lost his grip. New York lost its grip on the crown. New York was toppled over. You know, Rome falls. Even Rome falls. That's a prime saying. New York was like Rome at one time and it fell. It was conquered by the South. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. You know, that's why dudes like Pimp C was so like they like New Yorkers, but they treated them a certain way. Jay-Z wanted Pimp C on the album, and he wanted Pimp C on the song, and Pimp C was like, nah, it gotta be X, Y, and Z for me to do a song with a New Yorker, because New Yorkers didn't want to do songs with us. See, this is what you gotta understand. And I told Lil Zippy, with the drippy this, you know. It's never no hate towards New Yorkers, but you know, most of my family is from. I got family in NYC. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing is this: I've always been the dude, the country boy, that's gonna contest the New Yorker. You know, when I was coming up, New Yorkers would come around and they'll, yeah, man, it ain't like this in New York. Well, we ain't in New York, homie. They'll come to Virginia and be like, man, it's too slow down here. It ain't like this in New York. Man, there ain't no subways down here. It ain't like this. Well, you ain't in New York right now, homie. It ain't about where you from. It's really about where you at. And right now, you in Virginia, homie. I was always the one, trust me, I was always the guy. I keep my mouth closed. I keep my eyes and ears open. I'm watching and I'm listening. I'm observing and I'm listening. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why I try to tell y'all, you know, I seen it coming a mile away. I seen it coming around. I seen it coming a mile away. And like I said, it's mind-boggling to hear these guys from New York, to hear these people from New York telling me I'm hating on New York, or why are people hating on New York when for all of these years, New York would hate on every state if you wasn't from New York. You got to understand something, man. It's never fun when the rabbit has the gun. It's never fun. So let me break it down. You know, you got New York guys rapping like they from Atlanta, sounding like they from Atlanta. You know, Designer, he is from Brooklyn, but he sounds just like Future. You got that, so that's the South, that's Atlanta. You got other New Yorkers with this drill rap that came right up out of Chicago. So there goes Chicago and Atlanta influencing New York City. Then you got the gangs that come up out the West Coast, that come up out of California. We all know the Bloods and the Crips come up out of California, but somehow New York adopted Bloods and Crips, and there we go. 3 other states influencing New York City. Oh, don't forget when Pharrell Williams and the Neptunes were popping and everybody started skateboarding. Oh, do you remember that time? That's fresh up out of Virginia. I remember coming to Brooklyn, New York. I was doing my thing. I told y'all maybe I'd give y'all a story time, but you know, they used to call me the gunman. And I was making moves from my town all the way to Brooklyn, New York. I had a book bag full of those things. And I remember coming to New York City and seeing real street dudes in Brooklyn, New York, riding skateboards. And it was mind-boggling how influential Pharrell Williams and the Neptunes were, that people in Brooklyn. Now, when Biggie Smalls was alive, it was no black dudes in New York. It was no black gangsters in New York riding skateboards. So that's 4 states right there. You got Virginia, you got Atlanta, you got Chicago, right? And cities, you got Chicago and you got California, highly influencing and highly influential when it comes to New York City. We have to, you know, I would respect guys and people from New York if they addressed that first and really took that in. You understand what I'm saying? You got to really take that in. Let me tell you something, right? In Virginia, we got the biggest naval base in the world, my G. Not in the country, not in the city, The biggest naval base in the world in Norfolk, Virginia, where I'm from, Norfolk, Virginia, right? So that means people coming from all over the world that's in the military that come to our town. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, when you come to Norfolk, Virginia, you're going to get a glimpse in the taste of Norfolk, Virginia. Just because it's people from California there, don't mean we about to start wearing jerry curls. Just because it's people from California in Virginia, right, in the military, don't mean we about to start doing the blood and crip thing all outrageously. Just because you got people from Chicago coming to Virginia, you don't hear us doing drill music. You understand what I'm saying? You see how I'm breaking this down, and again, like I said, this is grown man business. You know, uh, exactly, David L. That's all I'm saying. And it's okay to be the one taking the shots sometimes. It's okay. When you was the Chicago Bulls for all these years, you got to understand in due time, another team is going to come along, my G, and push y'all out the way. It's going to push y'all out the way. So even all the way down to the situation with, the homie Zippy with the drippy, you know, when he get mad and he get flustered and he really can't find nothing else to say to me, big GMB TV, he say, "Oh, you country dudes, you guys are always hating on New York City." We not hating on New York City. New York City ain't been New York City since Biggie lost his life out there in LA, and ain't nobody ride for Biggie. See, again, it takes a grown man to be able to speak this life into you. It takes a grown man on grown man business to be able to speak the real to you. If it hurts your feelings or if it don't. New York ain't been New York since Biggie got smoked in LA, and nobody rolled for Biggie. You understand how influential? You got to understand something, how influential these other cities are to that big city, the big city. Yeah, but we are considered this country, my G. We are the bottom of the North and the top of the South. We are the bottom of the North and the top of the South. And one thing you got to know about Virginia, it's country, homie. Yeah, when you come to Newport News, you come to the 757, hold on. You come to that big 757, right? When you come to the 757, what you got to understand is, that's a city area. But all of the outskirts of Virginia is country. Oh, it's some of the countryest areas you will ever see in your life, homie. That's where that's what y'all got to understand. We the city. We are the city. But when you go outside of the city, it's country. So yeah, Virginia's country, homie. Virginia is very country. And I remember as a young country boy, you know what I'm saying? I was never one of the ones that was influenced by New York like that. I love New York just like everybody else did. But when the New Yorkers would come down, when my family would come down, when cousins would come down to Virginia, and they would always talk about, "Oh, this New York, this ain't like this ain't New York, homie." I was always the country boy that was gonna question the New Yorker, and it always made them mad if you question them. Where you get them Jordans from, homie? Yeah, man, these Jordans, y'all ain't got these Jordans in Virginia. But come to find out, those Jordans y'all was getting off Canal Street. It was no way for us to get those Jordans because those wasn't real colorways. The Vietnamese and Chinese people been making knockoff Jordans for you New Yorkers for hundreds of years now. You understand what I'm saying? So the New York dudes will come to Virginia and be like, y'all ain't got these Jordans. And, a lot of my homies will be looking like, dang, we ain't got those J's, man. I wish we could be in New York so we could get those Jordans. I was the ones always looking like, I don't believe you. You need more people. So I always bump heads with guys from New York. And then after we bump heads, we end up being friends. We end up being friends, you homie. You feel me? But I always was the dude that was going to question the New Yorker. And I'm going to tell you something. What happened with me, where it really resonated with me, was when I made my first trip to New York City. You understand what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, the naval base in Virginia is a melting pot of people that come in through the military. So one of my closest homies from Brooklyn was in the military, and he was getting calls from his homies up there in the hood, like, "Yo, do you? Yeah, you got a plug." He had a plug on them things. He had a plug on them heaters. He had a plug on them hammers. I was the plug with them hammers. And you know, this is something a lot of people, if you ain't been to New York, if you ain't in tune with NYC, you don't know about this, but I do. This is why I be telling y'all, ain't no hate about New York. I got nothing but love, and I salute New York. But I gotta stand on Virginia business. I gotta stand on Norfolk VA business. So my homies say, "Yo, man, my homies need these hammers. We gonna go up there during the Juve parade." Now, if you from New York, you know what the Juve parade is, right? That's a New York thing. You know, the West Indian Day parade. Hey, we gonna go up there during the Juve parade, and we gonna do our thing. And that was my first time going to New York as an adult. So that was my first time seeing New York for what it really is. You know, the grimy parts of New York. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's when I really realized, oh, all the stuff I seen on TV was just TV. You know, big city with the big lights and the big buildings, that's just in Manhattan. All of this other stuff, yeah, all of this other stuff, it ain't looking too sweet. It ain't looking too good. It's actually kind of disgusting. I was like, yo, he's been coming down to Norfolk all this time talking about New York City, and it's not, bro, I wouldn't dare. So that was my first awakening of New York. Still got love for New York, still got homies and all that, but I would do my business and I would make my way back down south where we have trees at, where we got green grass. You understand what I'm saying? Fresh air. It's never been no hate for New York City. But New Yorkers gotta realize that if it wasn't you, it was your uncles. If it wasn't you, it was your older cousins that was coming down south, you know, talking about X, Y, and Z in New York City, trying to make New York City X, Y, and Z, and there ain't been that in a long time. You understand me? I suggest, and I really think that New Yorkers really need to embrace the fact that they don't hold the crown no more. The crown ain't been in New York in a long time. It ain't been in, it ain't that y'all ain't held the crown since Biggie lost his life. Stand on New York business, but also respect and have the utmost respect for these other areas like Virginia. That's why Lil Zippy with the Drippy, you know, that's why Lil Zippy with the Drippy feel like he could talk how he talk to somebody that ain't from New York. Like, you know, nah, bro, we not, you can't, you got to understand something, man. You've been locked up for a long time, man. A lot of things changed, Lil Zippy with the Drippy. The New York you remember 20 to 18, 30 years ago, it been gone a long time ago, homie. Y'all want to be like dudes from Atlanta now. Y'all want to be like dudes from Chicago now. Y'all want to be like dudes from LA now. Y'all ain't trendsetters no more. Y'all follow the trends. Listen what I'm telling you, New Yorkers, and this is respectfully. Again, when a grown man is talking to you, you know, sometimes you might feel a way about it. But if it's coming respectfully and it's good dialogue, you can only ingest it and digest it, my G. You got to digest what I'm giving you right now. You understand what I'm saying? New York used to set the trends. Oh, when we used to see those bubble coats, we wanted one. When we used to see those Timberland boots. Oh, we wanted Timberland boots. Yeah, we did, man. Yeah, we did. You know, I'm gonna tell you what, when we used to see those fronts. Oh, when we used to see those fronts back in the day, them gold fronts. Oh, we wanted them bad. That was a long time ago, homie. New York used to set trends. Now we set the trends. You understand me? Now we set the trends that the world follows. That's it. Let me give y'all a prime example of that. Allen Iverson. Oh, we all know who AI is. Hold on, I think I got him on my shirt. We all know who Allen Iverson is, don't we? You see that guy on my shirt right there. Newport News, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? I think he's from downtown. Could be uptown, but I think it's downtown. Newport News, Virginia. You see how when Allen Iverson went to Philadelphia, how everybody started wearing cornrows like Allen Iverson. How everybody, even in New York City, started wearing cornrows like Allen Iverson, started wanting to cross over like Allen Iverson. Do you understand how powerful our influence? And I'm talking about Virginia. See, it's time somebody stand up for Virginia, homie. The 757. That's what it's time for. We have been major factors in this hip hop thing, major factors in the culture for a long time. But guys from New York don't want to give us that. Y'all want to reminisce when Biggie was alive. Y'all want to reminisce when the Wu-Tang Clan was Nah, we've been influenced in this culture, and we've been a heavy influence in this culture for a long time. Ask Puff Daddy. Ask Puff Daddy why he grabbed up Missy Elliott and brought her. And yeah, you know Missy Elliott co-wrote the Benjamin song, right? Woo, 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 woo. I'm giving y'all some game right now. Did you know that Missy Elliott co-wrote the Benjamin song? A song that represented New York to the fullest for years. When you heard it's all about the Benjamins, baby, you thought of New York City, but that had a heavy Virginia influence on it. I ain't saying Virginia, I ain't saying New York ain't still popping, but New York don't set no trends, Mellow BX. New York don't set no trends. New York follows trends now. We all respected New York when New York was trendsetters. We all stopped respecting New York on that level once we started seeing New Yorkers doing everything we was doing. You understand what I'm saying, youngster? It was never a thing in New York for the majority of the young black dudes that have nappy twist in their hair. That wasn't a New York thing. New Yorkers used to have something called a fresh Caesar. You see that? You see that, right? A fresh Caesar. That came out of New York City. A fresh Caesar. When the last time you seen a New Yorker with a fresh Caesar? I'll wait. Hold on. Let me take a sip of that. Yes, they helped put her on, but her musical influence, they couldn't control that. They helped put her on because they seen the talent. You understand what I'm saying? You only see New Yorkers now with dreads like Lil Wayne, twisties like dudes from Atlanta. The twisties that came from the South, homie. That was never a normal thing in New York City. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. You got to understand that, you know, we're gonna respect it more when New York can accept the fact that they are followers now. It's nothing to bring back. What can you bring back? What can you bring back? You understand what I'm saying? Daz effects. Yes, listen what I'm saying. I said it wasn't. Listen what I'm saying to you, man. Listen what I'm saying to you. Follow me. There's always exceptions to the rules. The Onyx boys had bald heads. I didn't say anything about that. Yes, Daz effects. A few other people like Buster and these dudes had dreads, but the normal and the real look for New York City dudes was waves and a Caesar. That was your thing. When the last time you seen a New Yorker with a fresh cut? Now again, come on, man. I understand that. You get what I'm saying, though. You get what I'm saying. It was way more dudes with a fresh cut. It was way more dudes with a fresh cut than it was Daz Effects and Helter Skelters and Smith and Wessons, homie. Lil Wayne changed all of that. Why y'all acting like y'all don't know this? Why y'all acting like y'all don't know that Lil Wayne changed the whole landscape? Y'all ain't been the same since Lil Wayne. Y'all ain't been the same since Lil Tucci did a Millie. Tell me I'm lying, man. You feel what I'm saying? So, and again, this is what you got to always understand. Always watch out when somebody's making a point, somebody's making a good point, and the first thing these guys do is try to pick out the small exception to the rules. There's always exception. I never said all New Yorkers had a Caesar and Waves. I never said all New Yorkers. But I'm telling you the majority of them. And instead of looking at the majority, they want to look at the small exception to the rule because they holding on to anything they can. Hey, man, helter skelter. Yeah, I ain't say all New Yorkers. Yeah, Onyx had a ball head. But the majority of you New Yorkers had a nice edge up, nice waves, and a smooth, nice Caesar, homie. That was y'all thing. Y'all ain't been the same since Lil Wayne changed. The South took over the crown. But I spent a lot of time in NYC, homie. I remember when NYC was a they were the trendsetters. I remember when NYC was at the pinnacle of their reign when it came to hip hop, when it came to fashion. You couldn't do nothing if you ain't make your way up north. Any and all rappers, even J. Cole talks about when he was young, how he wanted to go to New York City to follow his dreams and how he went to college in New York City. J. Cole said he went to college up north because he wanted to be around the record labels. He knew that's where he had to be at. New York had its time. I'm not taking nothing away from NYC. When I was coming up, a Tekashi 6ix9ine would have never existed. Tell me I'm lying. In the 90s, the early 90s, the mid 90s, even the late 90s, a Tekashi 6ix9ine could have never existed in New York City. Nah. So let's break that down, Mellow B. Let's break that down because that's one of the things that Lil Zippy with the Drippy likes to talk about. And I wanted to take a few seconds to really, dissect that. Yes, New York got money with everybody. New York got money with everybody. But a lot of the times they was trying to enforce, they was trying to force their way. They was trying to inflict their will because they was New Yorkers. Look at all the examples. Lil Zippy with the Drippy talks about it. Hey, man, my dudes came down to Virginia and made money. Well, where exactly was they making money at? Because I ain't never heard of them. Even in the movie Belly, when they went to Nebraska, they didn't go to Nebraska and try to get in with those guys and make money side by side equally. They tried to take over the boys in Nebraska, and that's why the young boy in Nebraska said, "Man, I got to drop a dime on these ball, man. I don't like that, man. They getting good money, man. I don't like that. I don't like that, man." So anywhere a New Yorker win at to get some money, they was trying to take money. It's a small again. When you get these guys reaching for the exception, the small exception, that's when you know they ain't got nothing to hold on to. I didn't say all New Yorkers was taking money, but the majority of the New Yorker will come down and try to take money. A small exception to the rule of New York guys will come around and try to rub shoulders and try to do business the right way. That's why even in The Wire, what they was doing with those New York boys, did you ever watch The Wire? Yeah, they was like, yo, we got to run these New York boys off these blocks. And Marlo and them boys started smoking them, sending them back up north. It was never a time when New Yorkers came around and felt like they was equals. They always felt like they were superior because back in the day, New Yorkers had that cockiness to them. Back in the day, New Yorkers had that cockiness to them. They would come around your area, wherever it was at, and they'd be like, man, we from New York, man. Hey, man, we from New York. We gonna take that, you know what I'm saying? We going to the park, you know what I mean? And when we go into the park, you know what I mean? We taking that. That's how they was moving. And those country boys was like, damn, they think they, whoa, that's how, yeah, vacant houses. So Mellow B, I'm here to tell you, man. I don't know, you might want to talk to your OGs. They could give you the real game. I'm an old head, my G. My 40, I just hit 40. I know it. Salute to everybody in the community section, sending out the happy birthdays and all that. Yeah, I'm an OG. I just look like this. You feel me? I'm an old head, homie. I just look like this. So when I tell you, New Yorkers used to come around, they used to lean on being from New York. They was trying to take something everywhere they went. And now that the tables have turned, where you got people coming from all over getting money in New York, you got people from all over coming through getting money in NYC. You got all these people now looking at New York because they remember how cocky they was. They remember how New Yorkers used to do them country boys or try to do them. How New Yorkers used to try to do them boys in Maryland. We remember that. So it's nothing to get defensive about. You understand what I'm saying? But men and real warriors and real gangsters and real stand-up grown man business can recognize when, the tables have turned, when the crown has been passed on. Y'all don't have the crown. It's been a long time. That's why, listen, you got to understand something. Why would a little Zippy with the drippy feel the need to address little old grown man business TV? Because he can feel that energy. Yeah, you think you bringing New York back? You bringing them back for what? Where you bringing New York? Where they go? Where they go? Obviously, they fell off. If you feel the need and you think that you got to bring New York back, then you are admitting that y'all fell off. We ain't never went nowhere, homie. This is why my East New Yorkers, this is why the dudes that I deal with in New York, this is why they rock with me so well. I was never one of those country boys that was bootlicking New Yorkers. I was never one of those country boys that was D-riding New Yorkers. I was never one of those dudes. We used to get in the fist. We used to fight. We used to get in the real fights, me and my dogs from New York. Because I'm talking about, man, you from, but yeah, this ain't like New York, man. Well, this ain't New York, homie. This not New York, my G. This is Virginia. And I've been standing on this Virginia. I'm from VA, homie. What you mean? And when I was coming up, yeah, this ain't like New York, man. We get at 18, we was going up in Kmart's buying shotguns. It was legal in Virginia. So when you came down here talking about, oh, this ain't New York, yeah, this ain't New York, boy. Well, we got gun shops around here. We can buy bullets. We get it in for real out here, homie. So I used to be the one getting in fights with the New Yorkers. I used to be the one that, and then after me and those dudes were getting a real fist blow, throwing blows with each other, they turn back around and we be cool and we do business. But if I didn't fight them, if I didn't question these New York dudes down here, if I didn't say what I needed, if I didn't hold Virginia down, they would just try to come and just set up shop wherever they want, wherever they think the money at. Nah, it was the same thing in the Wire. They was putting them in them vacant here. They was putting them in them vacant houses, the New Yorkers. Yeah, but see, this is the thing, Mellow B. The majority of the Zulu gang obviously was with the Rainbow Coalition. I mean, we all heard Hassan Campbell. That's another thing that Zippy with the Drippy tried to use against me. Yo, well, we started hip hop and X, Y, and Z. Well, if you let Hassan Campbell tell it, the Zulu Nation, they was just a bunch of fruity pops. Yeah, they was a bunch of fruit pops. Did you not know that, Mellow BX? The Zulu Nation was a bunch of fruit pops. And I ain't gonna take nothing from no fruit pop, because if you run across the wrong fruit pop, he'll beat you down. If you run across the wrong fruit pop, he'll beat you down, homie. If you run across the wrong fruit pop, he'll smoke your boots, homie. So it ain't nothing to, I ain't talking down, but let's not act like the Zulu Nation wasn't a bunch of, homo thugs. Because you already know what they say about Bambaataa. That's a whole nother that's a whole nother talk. Bruh, I don't know. Maybe my uncles and them was doing that. When I was coming up, we wasn't rocking no Jerry curls, homie. When I was coming up, it was money getting, big jewelry, a lot of influence from NYC. Because when I was coming up, NYC still had the crown. When I was coming up, New York, so you got to understand and you got to hear the compliments that I'm giving you within the message, homie. When I was coming up, New York City were trendsetters. So a lot of the trends that New York, I had a North Face jacket. I had Timberland boots, homie. I had that. You feel me? I had those things. New York City didn't sound like country people. New York City didn't do music like the West Coast. New York City had the grit and the grimy rap. And then it turned luxurious with the big, Notorious B.I.G. Then it turned to that luxurious rap. It turned to that Versace shades, the Versace shirt, halfway button. You know what I'm talking about, man. New York used to do that. Now y'all drill rapping. Huh? Now y'all Bloods and Crips. Yeah, man. Yeah. It was a movie. If you ain't never seen this movie, right? It's a movie that y'all should all go check out, and it's called The Warriors. Oh, I'm gonna get deep for you. It's a movie that's called The Warriors. You understand me? And in this movie, The Warriors, it gives you a bird eye view. It gives you all the examples of all the New York gangs back in the day. Oh, you had the baseball bat gang. You had the Warriors. You had all these different type of gangs. They were wearing biker jackets and they had leather. Yeah, come out to play. They had leather vests on with patches on it. And ask me this: was there one gang up in that whole movie called the Bloods or called the Crips? Was there? I'm gonna just give me a second. There was not one gang in that whole movie called Bloods or Crips. And this is a prime example. It's always been gangs in New York City, but they weren't Bloods or Crips. Why didn't New York City hold on to their history of gangs? They got rid of that whole history of the Warriors and they went and jocked and bit and duplicated and you understand what I'm saying? They made a whole clone out of what the West Coast was doing. Is what it is. It'll be what it's going to be. But the problem is nobody want to say this, because as soon as you say this, then they try to tell you that you hating on New York City. There was no such thing as Bloods or Crips back in the day in New York City. All these other gangs, all this gang history in New York City, and they wipe that out so that they can duplicate and follow the lead of the West Coast. After Biggie Smalls got smoked, y'all started following the leader. Y'all ain't been trend setting since anything. You understand me? You can look into my face, homie. You can look into my eyes. I'm one of the dudes from the country that when y'all talking that New York talk, I'm just listening. I'm looking at you. Yeah, I'm peeping you out. I'm trying to see. We got land down here, homie. We got property down here, homie. We got guns down here, homie. It ain't the same. Y'all ain't been in position in a long time. That's another reason why Zippy with the drippy, that's why he feels so flustered with me. You understand what I'm saying? He would go so hard in his little videos when it come to me, because I'm that dude from the South that's going to expose you living in them rat infested buildings, homie. Them pissy hallways and them elevators. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Dipset. Hey, man. Who did Joel Santana lean on? Salute to Dipset. That was a hell of an era for New York City. But even them, even New York City, even Cameron went out to Ohio. Oh, yeah. Don't you know what I'm talking about? Even Joel Santana had to come down and sit down and get down with Lil Wayne. You understand me? I'm one of the ones, Mellow BX, and salute to you, Mellow BX, because I rock with you. But I'm one of the ones that breaks all that down that you talking. 8 million stories, my G. I'm gonna tell you, 7 million stories is influenced by the South, influenced by California, influenced by Chicago. Joel Santana, you know, he fell off. You know why? Because he came down south and he got hooked on lean. You understand what I'm saying? Dipset fell off like that. Yeah, they Dipset, one of Cameron, listen, one of Cameron's biggest songs is a song that he redid from a guy called Master P. I'm bout it. We bout it. Don't you understand that, Mellow BX? One of Cameron's biggest songs is a song that he did, Master P. Another one of his biggest songs was the joint he did with Kanye West. That's Chi-Town. I keep breaking it down to you. Virginia, Atlanta, Chicago, California. Yeah. Well, again, why is he paying homage to the South, David L? Why is he paying homage to the South if he's a New Yorker? Back in the days, the New Yorkers didn't pay homage to the South. Oh, Daz Effects, Helter Skelter, Onyx, all these guys that y'all keep on naming, they wasn't paying homage to the South. They wasn't redoing Southern. Yeah, they wasn't doing hits from. Nah, that wasn't happening. New York was setting trends. They wasn't following trends. Cameron was following the trend. And he had a real big, you know, I gotta give a salute to the Dipset era, because I used to have those mixed CDs in my car back when we had CD players in the car. It was no Bluetooth. I'm that old. You feel me? I'm an old head for real. You hear me? Man, nice birthday gift. You know what I'm saying? Gotta have a nice timepiece. Nice birthday gift, man. Yeah. I wanted to be the one to break this down for y'all. I wanted to be the one to give y'all the game on this. Yeah. He never came back to DC. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, man. You know, again, it's no hate. It's no hate. Yeah, Jay-Z is very influential. Jay-Z is very influential. Jay-Z definitely, you know, I got it, you know, he is the top. Jay-Z is the top of the top. You understand what I'm saying? But before I was rocking with Jay-Z, I was a Biggie fan. And then Biggie died. And that's what kind of put me on Jay-Z. Let me tell you something. When Biggie was alive, when Pac was alive, Nas, he's still alive, Jay-Z was no factor in this music thing. Jay-Z was not a factor, homie. You gotta have age on you. You have to have been there to know what I'm talking about. Wu-Tang Clan. You understand me? Like it was a lot of different people that was a major factor in this thing. Now, once Biggie and Tupac died, well, here go Jay-Z. And salute the Hove, because he took full advantage of that. He took it to levels we could never imagine with this hip-hop thing. You understand what I'm saying? But Jay-Z is not enough. Jay-Z don't influence the children. Jay-Z don't influence the youth right now. As powerful as Jay-Z is, don't no kids want to rap like Jay-Z. Don't no kids. The only thing kids might want to do is get themselves a Beyonce like Jay-Z and get that billion like Jay-Z. But Jay-Z don't influence the kids in no way. Lil Durk do though. Chicago, BX. Chicago got the whole BX looking like Chirac right now. Chicago got the whole New York BX looking like Chirac right now. Even Brooklyn. Brooklyn looking like Chirac right now. Yeah. Hold on real quick, man, because being as though I'm able to, engage in the chat, I kind of want to see something real quick. Homie was asking a question and I didn't get a chance to. Hold on. I didn't get a chance to engage in the question, man. I kind of. All right, here we go. Hold on real quick. Let me find this question. It said, right, white privilege in America and loving it. I ain't gonna lie. Let me say this real quick. I love that title. I like that name, homie. Let's stop acting like there's not a such thing as white privilege. Let's stop acting like this ain't real. Now let's read the question. Do FBA have anything positive to talk about? Just asking for a friend. Oh, white privilege in America and loving it. Let me tell you something. You in the right place, homie. You came to the right place. Cause we definitely have positivity to talk about. Actually, this conversation is positive. This is a positive conversation. Uh, I hit the like button, by the way. I appreciate that. I appreciate that white privilege in America and loving it. I want to address you real quick, my guy, just because I appreciate, I can appreciate realness. Now, me, talking and addressing New York right now is a positive message. Hold on, guys. It's getting a little dark. Let me cut the I'm gonna have to cut my light on in a few minutes. Hold on, guys. Y'all rock with me. Hold on, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah. We gonna rock out real fast. We gonna rock out. We gonna rock out real fast. Now, yeah, but Chicago's like the Midwest. It's not really considered up north. Just to put that out there, right? But you in the right place, my guy, because over here at Grown Man Business TV, we talk about that too. Me addressing New York is a positive thing, just because it's something that needed to be said. It's something that needed to be spoken about. But when it comes to white privilege in America, you already know that. You obviously know that. You obviously now. Where do that white privilege come from? White privilege in America and loving it. Where does that? Let's talk about where that privilege comes from. Let's talk about where that white privilege comes from. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a second. You might want to jump back in the chat. But I'm gonna tell you where it comes from. White privilege in America and loving it. And you look old enough. I was gonna say your people. It is your people, but you look old enough to know exactly. I mean, to have been involved. Nah, not slave. Let me tell you something. Slavery actually made us stronger. After slavery, what was a terrible situation. The men and women were so strong that as soon as they got free, they started building their own communities. They started building Black Wall Street. They started building, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tesla. All of these Black communities all throughout the Carolinas, right? The privilege came in once they took all that land. Once they integrated us into the system, because we were segregated. You remember, it was no blacks allowed. Yeah, a few other things, but let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You in the chat, let's talk about it. But that's where I remember it. That's where I see it totally going left in the privilege, beginning. White people had to take that privilege. White people had to kill for that privilege. White people, they raped for that privilege. They stole for that yeah, they did everything under the sun for that white privilege, for the privilege that you so-called love, and that you are able to engage in on this land. You understand what I'm saying? After slavery, they had to find out slicker ways to get us trapped. segregation was the best thing. Us being segregated and not being included in this system was the best thing for us. White people figured out, hey, we got to bring them into our system. We got to integrate with these people, because I'm telling you, if we don't bring them within our system, they will create their own system. And if they create their own system, they're going to outgrow us. Yeah, it is. No, and don't forget killing. Don't forget, yeah, lying, cheating, stealing is the American way. But don't forget killing. Don't forget R word, taping with the R in front. Don't forget that. So one thing for sure, two things for certain, white privilege in America and loving it, is that you got to know, just like I was telling the New Yorkers, just like I was telling the guys from New York earlier today, the tables always turn. Always turn. The tables always turn, and it's never fun when the rabbit has the gun. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And you look like an older guy. So I don't think you're going to, I'm not sure, and I don't want to wish nothing on you. Hopefully you are. But when it all turns around for your great grandkids, when our people say, okay, stealing, lying, cheating, killing, raping, that's the American way. Well, we about to engage in that. That's when you'll see your white privilege diminish, and you'll see black privilege. Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is, if y'all know it, if y'all believe it or not, most white people, that's why they fear black people, because they know what they deserve. They know what we owe them. White people subconsciously, in their DNA, in their genetic makeup, they've done such vicious, vile, disgusting things to black people that subconsciously they know, oh man, when will it happen? When will the day come where these black people turn on us and give us everything that we gave them times 10? When is the day going to come when these black people smarten up and they pillage and run through the suburbs? Yeah, running in all the houses in the suburbs, killing, cheating, stealing. You know the American way you speak of. That's why white people, when they fear us. That's why they go so hard. I had one of my youngsters ask me one day. He said, "Man, why do all black people want to do is live their life? All black people want to do is X, Y, and Z. Why do white people hate us so much? Why do white people go so hard? Why do Caucasian people go so hard against black people?" And I had to explain it to him, because again, I'm 40, man. I'm a OG. I'm older than, I'm no youth with these youngsters, and I got a lot of game to give them. I got a lot of knowledge up here, and I broke it down to them. They scared of what, bruh, they know what they did. They act like I said, look at your title. White privilege in America and loving it. They know what their ancestors did to get that white privilege. They don't even like to talk about it. In Florida, that's why they getting rid of, they trying to get rid of like black kids. They trying to get rid of certain things because they don't even like to talk. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting to a lot of Caucasian people at what their ancestors did that they don't even like to talk about it. But subconsciously in the back of their mind, they know what their ancestors did, and they know that has to be paid back. Oh, white privilege and loving it, man. Salute to you, man. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. I don't know, man. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind you coming onto the panel and dropping some game if you got some game on that. But I believe that, and I know for a fact that the payback, the big payback, oh, we get to feeding those babies the alligators. When we get to running up in the suburbs and the sickest of minds when it come to black men run up in those suburban homes and start, all wording those, yeah, they start all wording those white women. That's the most deepest fear of a white man is knowing that one day One day, regardless on how hard they try, the privilege will be transferred. Just like New Yorkers. See, it's a beautiful thing, and the universe works in a mysterious way, because it's the same thing of what I was just saying to those New Yorkers. The New Yorkers was trendsetters for so long that it just kills them. And the last thing they ever thought would happen is that some Southern boys would take over this rap thing. Some Southern boys, some California dudes would be so big that they would trump and outshine New York. And for like deep rooted New Yorkers, man, they still can't grasp it. They still in denial. And that's what's going on with white people as we speak. And that's respectfully. When they see us, they think to themselves, man, we done everything we could do to these black people. We used to lynch them. We used to rape them. We used to feed their babies to alligators. We used to hang them. Once they got out and they started building up their little communities, we sent in white people and we pillaged and we burned down all of the black communities across America. Intimate domain. It's called intimate domain. We're going to take, the villages and the black communities that we didn't burn down, we're going to use a legal situation called intimate domain, where we just going to take the land. You know, Utica Village, Central Park, some of the most wealthiest land in America was owned by about 5,000 or 6,000 black people. And they went in there and said, hey, we want to turn this into a national park. Central Park in America. You know how many lakes have black communities at the bottom of them in North Carolina, in South Carolina, all throughout the South? They would intimate domain this land, these 200 acres, and turn it into a big pond for y'all to go fishing out of. We done did everything to these black people. They still striving. They still going to the top. They still becoming successful. After we took all the land and we pushed them into the urban areas, now we started pumping crack and cocaine all throughout their area. These are literally facts. These are facts. This is not an opinion. We thought we got rid of them and we thought we took all the land, but even when we put them in these urban communities, the ghetto and the slums, they still got family. We got to find a way to break up the family because we didn't understand that's stronger. With the black family, it doesn't matter. They can win. Put crack and cocaine for the war in Nicaragua. Yeah. Let's destroy the community. There's 3 strike laws. Jim Crow. I mean, it's so redlining. We're not going to give these black people loans. All banks across America, we're not giving black people loans. We're going to fly in the Vietnamese. We're going to fly in the Chinese people. We're going to fly in these Indians. And we're going to give them loans, business loans. That privilege you talk about, it's a beautiful thing. But even Rome falls. Rome has to fall. What you gonna do, my G, if you ain't here? Because you reaping the benefits of that white privilege. But what happens when it all turns around for your grandkids? What do you think about? How do you feel about that? What happens? Generational wealth, my G. Huh? It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. But the tables will turn. The dog and when the rabbit will have the gun. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Yeah, for sure. The problem is with technology that y'all have stolen. These things are really crazy when you do the research. Like, with the technology that y'all have stolen, y'all have given us the age of information. One of the most scariest things for white people as well is that control you talk about. That control, in this, okay, let's do one thing at a time. That control that you talk about, due to the age of information, y'all are losing that control. Every year, y'all lose more and more people that y'all can control. That's why The government is in disarray right now. They don't know how to really control the people. How can we get a better grip on the people? Because they're buying up a lot of guns. They're buying up a lot of guns, and they're not listening to CNN anymore. They're not listening to Fox News anymore. We don't have a control over these people anymore. They going on YouTube now. They talking to Grown Man Business TV. How do we control these people now? So that's the first thing. Y'all really lost all control of the people of America, and y'all have lost control of America. That's why America's in debt to China so deeply. Y'all lost control. Y'all ancestors are rolling in their graves right now at the way that y'all have lost control and bowed down to China. White privilege ain't something to be totally proud of anymore, my G. It's not strong as it used to be. White privilege. It's just it sounds good, but it's not real. Y'all ain't, y'all ain't what y'all. And I respect your ancestors. They was cruel. Your ancestors would do anything. They were vicious when it came to that American flag. Y'all ain't did nothing but painted it the rainbow colors. Okay, and your kids being set up for success, that only depends if the infrastructure of America stands up by the time your kids is old enough to reap that success. Because if a war break out, if a civil war break out, whatever you left for your kids to be successful will be obsolete. You understand? So you banking on your grandkids living in a beautiful America by the time they 21. Ain't no telling. Ain't no telling what this. Ain't no telling what America gonna be in the next 5 years. But see, white people done became so comfortable. White people done became, so comfortable with this white privilege that they just automatically believe in X, Y, and Z. A lot of white people can't see through the smoke and mirrors because y'all never had to look through the smoke and mirrors. Y'all never had to imagine the tables turning. Y'all never had to imagine. What you think could happen? Something go down over here. They coming for y'all. The Chinese, anybody, something go down over here. What y'all think gonna happen? Y'all think we gonna fight with y'all? Something go down on American soil. What you think? What you think gonna happen? Everybody's gonna turn against y'all. Y'all destroying the oceans. Y'all destroying the air. Y'all destroying the land. Y'all destroying the farms. Y'all destroying the food. Y'all destroying the water. Y'all even destroying the American dollar, the currency. Oh, you came to the right place. Oh yeah, you came to the right place, my G. And I feel like this. A black man like myself and a white man like yourself should be able to have these real conversations. Should be able to have real dialogue. Real dialogue. Your grandkids ain't prepared for war. You got stocks and bonds and stuff for your grandkids ain't prepared to go to war. They ain't prepared to go to war with a people like my people that done been through so much on this land that when the war go down, when the war take off, we gonna be like your great granddaddy times 100. We gonna be like the slave masters times 100 when the war go down. So your grandkids ain't prepared for war. They ain't prepared for nothing. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. And look, I had to look around. I'm talking too spicy for him. When you get to talking real spicy for him, you got to start looking around. Make sure the boys, the men in black don't pop up at your crib, huh? You hear me? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Oh, we more in control of the young soldiers than you think we are. You got to stop looking at CNN. You got to stop looking at Fox News. You got to stop listening to the radio and the media outlets right now. You got to stop listening to them and listening to the narrative that they present to y'all, that it's just so much black on black crime and black people. You got to stop that. Our young boys that's drilling right now, those are soldiers. Those are soldiers. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Follow me on this. When Tupac was alive, the reason why I like Tupac more than Biggie, more than Jay-Z, more than Nas, is because I always felt like if Tupac wouldn't have lost his life and he would have said one day, we having a million thug march. Y'all need to meet me in Atlanta. We having a million thug march. I want y'all to meet me in New York City. It would have been a million thugs outside with Tupac. So the only thing we missing right now is that voice. Whoever or whatever that voice is, that was a Tupac. A voice like Tupac that's going to say, all you youngsters, turn that energy toward dumb people. Youngsters, turn that energy towards dumb people. That again, they know that. White people know that. Hoover said it would not be another black messiah unless we make it, because he realized what a black messiah is and what it's worth and what it will do. I'll say this, man. I'll say this. Why you think white people buying all the ammunition? Why do you think that? But I want to tell you something, because one thing I realized is that Caucasian people don't have melanin in their skin. Caucasian people are not connected to the cosmos. That's why Caucasian people, white people, will kill animals, and you'll see them taking pictures with a whole elephant with his head blown off, and it'll be a white lady taking a picture with a giraffe, blood coming out his eyes and nose, and she'll just be like taking a picture like this, right? She'll just be taking a picture. It's because white people are not connected to the cosmos. So even you, my guy, like this white guy, you believe that because y'all have brought so much ammunition that y'all are protected, not understanding that the nature don't care about your ammunition. You understand what I'm saying? The universe don't care about your ammunition. It's really nothing y'all can do. You can buy all the ammunition you want, and when that sun get too hot, you can't even come outside because your skin will burn off and you will get skin cancer. You won't even be able to come outside to use that ammunition. Yeah. Well, as far as what their sexual occupation was, I don't know. But I do know this. Tupac went to one of those Julia art schools where he learned the power of media and he learned the power of perception. So even if he was LBG 123, we didn't know he was, and we didn't believe he was. And when he put that thug life across his stomach, he activated all the real thugs and all the real shooters and killers in America that look like him. He activated them. And if he would have lived long enough, they wouldn't, trust me, we would stop turning. We would not be wasting no bullets on ourselves, and we'd be wasting, but they took care of that. The only thing that connect you to the cosmos, my G's, is melanin for the most part. And a lot of those very smart white people, and I want you to take this respectfully. A lot of the smart white people, a lot of the so-called, you know, intelligent white people have stolen the information. I'm talking about inventions, man. I'm talking about mathematical equations. I'm talking about any area on the highest level of education, on the highest level of physics, mediums, all of that. They were influenced by, somebody else. It's very rare that you're going to find a Caucasian person that came to these ideas and came to these thoughts without secretly being influenced by somebody else or secretly taking the information. And I know I'm respectfully, man. I'm just trying to keep it 100 with you. You know, when you come here to Grown Man Business TV, I'm only gonna give it to you real. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I'm gonna look. You did a lot of typing. Lily in the field. Salute. You was typing right there. You got a lot. You was typing fast on that one. You got that. Face red droop. I don't know what you talking, but yeah, yeah. So when you say what about the physics in the meeting, what about it? You understand what I'm saying? You got young black girls, you know, uh, doing equations that Chinese people couldn't do for thousands of years in mathematics. You know what I'm saying? The so-called trip to the moon, white people couldn't even get these spaceships to the moon. And then you got four young girls from the Tidewater area doing the math and doing the physics to get y'all to the moon. It's really, you got to ask yourself, why can't white people recreate the pyramids? Bill Gates, perfect example. Bill Gates stole that information. Bill Gates took the information, he was influenced, took that information, revamped it, made it his own, and became a big billionaire. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and it's rare that you see any white people that's just scholars like that. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. It's rare that you run across any white. I'm talking about all the way down to Jack Daniels liquor. I'm talking about we can go to the lowest compound. Jack Daniels liquor. When I was growing up, we thought Jack Daniels whiskey was just, we never drunk it because we just felt like, hey, that's like some white people whiskey. We don't drink whiskey. Come to find out, he took that from a black slave, Elon Musk. When you dig into these white people, any white person that's successful, that's deemed to be smart, that's deemed to be, upper echelon, we cannot take their word for it. We got to dig into their history to make sure they didn't steal that information from some black person or some colored person or some other person. We got to be 100% sure. We could never take their word for it. Yeah, man, all of that, big dog. Empath, all of that. We got to look into why can't, why, let me ask you a question, right? When you make that statement, why haven't we been back to the moon yet? Now, when you ask these white people that simple question, they'll tell you that we don't have the information and the technology and the knowledge anymore because they've lost it. All lies. All lies. They was never that smart for us to get to the moon. They never knew how to get us to the. These things are all lies, and it's all coming out. And in due time, something is going to happen that's going to trigger the whole nation, and everybody's going to end. In this thing, Rome will fall, and when Rome falls, you got to know, we are, boy, it's going to be bad for them. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. They can't figure out how to get back to the moon. They never figured out how to rebuild the pyramids. They don't even know what the pyramids was used for. These people literally been like, and for a long time, these lies, they can get off these lies because we didn't have technology. We had encyclopedia books and stuff like that, but we didn't have technology where we can literally, figure out what the truth is to the most extent real fast. They were able to get all of these lies off on us and make us believe that white people did this and nah. When you dig into it, bro, 98% of everything, even in America, come from like some black person. And respectfully, white privilege. Graduation shoot missing. Oh yeah, 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 man. That was a sad situation, man. Yeah, I'll say this, man. There's so many of these mass shootings that I be losing track. But yeah, that VCU, yeah, that was I won't say it's. Let me call you right back, baby. Hold on. Oh shit, what's up, boss man? Hold on. Boss man. Yeah, yeah, I'm on a live right now. I'll call you back in like 5 minutes. All right. Okay, here we go. Salute. I appreciate that white privilege in America. Salute, man. One thing I tell like my guys, man, because I got Caucasian dudes that I'm real tight with. That's my homies. And one thing I tell them is that these conversations are these conversations, a lot of people don't want to have them because they get uncomfortable. They get uncomfortable. You understand what I'm saying? But once we get to a place where we can have these conversations where a dude like me that look like, I might look like the average regular street dude, got some chains on, X, Y, and Z, but you know, I'm very established in this thing and knowledge wise and as far as property and family, all of those things, we can have that conversation and we can build on that. That's the beautiful thing about it. So salute white privilege in America. When I saw you, I was talking about New Yorkers, and when I saw you the name of your page, I was like, damn, but it was going up so fast I couldn't catch it. So I had to double back and find your comment because I definitely wanted to respond to that. I definitely wanted to tap into that. Now, even with black people, man, it's we've been damaged to the point where it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time for us to really understand what need to be done. Is that yeah, yeah, jumping out the buildings and all that. Yeah, yeah, all of that. You understand what I'm saying? And when you dig into like even when the stock crashed and the Great Depression and all of that, I was talking to I can't think what he was telling me, but he broke that down how that was all just like 9/11. That was all set up and strategically put you understand what I'm saying? To crash the market, crash America, and then go and then certain people made billions of dollars off of it. Just like 9/11. You understand what I'm saying? For sure. The moon, that's another thing. Me and my wife was just talking about that. The moon is not even. You know what it is, man. Um, that's one of the reasons. Yeah, they still talk about, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to address Lil Zippy is because even when I was growing up, man, it was easy to be influenced by the guy that you saw every day on the block drinking 40s and selling weed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the other guy that was established, um, you would normally look past him and they would deem him the nerd, or they would deem him X, Y, and Z. And it's just a new day and age. And the contrast, you know what I'm saying? Again, this is just YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's people on YouTube making millions of dollars, but the dudes in this sector not. That ain't it. So I don't do this for numbers. I don't do it for views. I basically do it to drop that game. You know what I'm saying? To give that game. And with Lil Zippy, the ancestors was telling me the voices inside of my mind was telling me do that. You know what I'm saying? And stay on his neck because you got you glorifying jail, you glorifying prison. Nah, homie, nah, that's not cool. That's not what it is. That's not what it. That's not the fly thing to do. It ain't cool to talk. It ain't cool to be in the yard and all that he talking about. I'm the opposite of that. I'm the balance for that. You understand? And that's another thing. With hip hop, you know, it was at one point it was a balance. You had the Onyx, you had the grimy, gritty rap coming out of New York, and then you had Tribe Called Quest. You know what I'm saying? And you had these other artists like MC Light and Queen Latifah that had messages, and it was a balance. Then again, not even just white people, but Jewish people, know certain people that run the industry, you know, a lot of the higher ups and the elites realize that it's too much of a balance, and we need to separate that. And we want to indulge, and we want to just flood the airways with this gutter grimy rap, this drug dealing rap. We want to make that cool. So we're gonna get rid of the Tribe Called Quest. We're gonna get rid of the De La Souls. We're gonna get rid of the Queen Latifah for the girls, and we're gonna give them everything on the opposite. So, you know, being that I'm in the position I'm in, yeah, I'm gonna go against Lil Zippy until we can have a conversation, because Lil Zippy don't want to get in it. Lil Zippy don't want no conversation with a big dog, a grown man. He don't want that. So until then, I'ma just stay on. I'ma just do what I want to do, and I'ma destroy, because before you can rebuild, you gotta destroy. So that's what put me on the Zippy. That's what made me, you know, that's what made me engage with Lil Zippy. I ain't tripping, you know, like I told dudes, people in the DMs, in the comments, at this present moment, I got more subscribers than Zippy. So we ain't doing this for clout. This has nothing to do with clout. This has nothing to do with subscribers. It has nothing to do with views on my end. On my end, you're gonna be able to look at Zippy on that pissy couch with that dirty feline he got walking, shedding fur and spraying all over that little apartment. And then you're gonna be able to look at Grown Man Business TV and that $650,000, $700,000 house, big pool in the backyard, family, head of the household. Yeah. It's a difference when you got a strong woman that takes your last name and follows your lead. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. So you need to see both sides. And Zippy, smile for the camera, man. Smile for the camera, homie. Have you seen Zippy? Please, man. Don't be ashamed of your jibs, man. Don't be ashamed of your dolphin teeth. You're looking like a mermaid. Just smile for the camera one time. That's all I want Zippy to do. Zippy, you need to be able to see the difference from a guy that goes to the dentist, you understand me, and a guy that only went to the dentist because taxpayers like me was paying his dental bill so he could go to the dentist in jail. Zip, can you do that, Zip, for the camera one time? That's why I'm on Zip neck like that. That's why I'm on his head like that. And last but not least, before we move on, because I ain't gonna stay on Zip, but the whole, you know, homosexual marks he makes towards black men, the whole thing with New York is telling other men that SMD. That's again, it got to be a balance. You can't, so again, New York has done lost grip, bro. You can't be a grown man and then try to justify telling another grown man to SMD you because you upset. So you know, yeah, it gets spooky with New Yorkers, like all the way back to Biggie Smalls saying he would, you know, eat an eggplant. She looks so good, he eat an eggplant. Biggie Smalls said that before in one of his rhymes, and everybody came in my comments and my DM saying, "Oh, you know, Biggie was just reciting a Richard Pryor line." But I don't care who said it. I don't care if it was Richard Pryor. I don't care if it was Eddie Griffin. I wouldn't care who said that. Why would you go into your raps and say you will eat an eggplant because the girl looks so good? Why would a dude like Zippy with the drippy, every time he gets upset or he feels like somebody's getting at him, he want to talk about weenie? When did grown men start saying weenie? When did a grown man, dog, a so-called shooter, a so-called killer, start saying weenie? Get off of my weenie. That's what he said to me. This has to be addressed. This is something that I knew inside my spirit, like we got to talk about this. Yeah, well, that's something that New York might want to stop doing. You know, you sound like the village people, homie. That's why I say New Yorkers always saying, why are you hating on New York? I'm not hating on New York. I'm addressing New York, though. Get off my weenie. Come on, homie, that's that. Come on, son. I don't care how mad I get. I've never thought to myself to tell another man to SMD me, because anything that you say, you sort of visualize it before you say it. It's just is what it is. It's not something you can get around. If you say I'm gonna make $1,000,000, you visualize that $1,000,000. When you tell a grown man to get on his knees and SMD you, you have now visualized this man putting his mouth on you. Oh, it's the greatest form of disrespect. Well, nah, you disrespecting yourself by telling another man to SMD you. You disrespecting yourself by telling another man to SMD you. And when I listen to Zippy with the Drippy talk again, when YouTube, the higher ups and the elites they own YouTube. They own all the apps. So one thing for sure, two things for certain. When you own this channel, when you got a channel and you put content out, your content is screened before it gets put into the algorithm. They screen it. They have a whole team that looks over your content, and they'll send you an email and say, hey, this content is not suitable for ads. It's going to stay yellow. And they have other emails that say, hey, this content is good for ads and you can monetize it. So they look over Lil Zippy in that disgusting message that he presents to these people, to these kids, to the people that's watching them, the drill rappers and all that. And they say, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy right there. We're going to pump him into the algorithm. Anytime he goes live, his message has no substance. So let's make sure 800 people get a whiff of it. Oh, he's telling guys to SMD. Yeah, that's homo. That's the Rainbow Coalition. He's telling guys to SMD. Let's put that out there. It take a grown man to let you listen. Let me. I don't even want to call you that, but it take a grown man to inform you youngsters and you dudes that's lost that it don't matter how. When I was growing up, if you said that, man, the OGs on the block would literally be ready to smack your mouth off, and they'll be looking at you sideways because you just made a homosexual remark to another man. For what? Because you mad? Oh, because you feel like he disrespected you? So you think that disrespecting him is telling him to SMD you? Y'all gotta get it. Y'all gotta get it together, man. Salute. Yeah, well, we ain't in prison, homie. And I believe this as well. If you did 18 years in prison and you comfortable with telling another man to SMD you, then you got some skeletons in your closet, man. There's some things you done did in there, man. So you telling me, again, that's why I've been on top of that. So you go to visit, you got a squat. See, so let me break this down. You shoot somebody that looked just like you, just like my man, White Privilege in America said. I mean, White Privilege in America and Loving It. You waste bullets on somebody that looked just like you. You waste bullets on another black man, right? And then when the white man come along, you put your hands out and you let that white man put handcuffs on you and take you to jail and throw you in a cell. So you didn't think to use those same bullets on the police or the boys in blue. You didn't think to do nothing with the bullets when they came. But when another black man in poverty says something you don't like, you delete him. Then when the boys in blue come, you let them lock you up for 18 years. Oh, and let's not forget, when you go to jail, you letting the white man check your backside. You letting the white man check your ass. You letting the white man check your ass for when you go to visitation. You copping the squat so they can look down yeah. You letting them do all of that for you for 18 years, and and then on top of that, you telling men to SMD you, but you ain't homosexual. You ain't a part of the Rainbow Coalition. See, that's the problem with New Yorkers, man. That's one of the problems. He's obviously in the closet. He's obviously a homosexual man, but y'all want to make all the excuses on why it's okay. Why it's okay to tell another man to SMD you. Why it's okay to go to jail and let that prison guard make you hold your nuts up and spread your cheeks. So you shoot somebody that look just like you, waste bullets on him. You in poverty, he in poverty. You go to jail. Let the white man put the cuffs on you. Let the boys in blue put the cuffs on you. Turn right around and let the prison guard make you hold your nuts up, butt naked, and spread your cheeks. And you ain't do nothing to the prison guard. You was all right with the prison guard checking your cheeks. That's what I'm going. That's what I'm contrast to. That's where I'm going against. That's the other side of it. And then last but not least, I'm here to show the youngsters what it looked like when you make it to the other side. We all came up in poverty. We all had it hard to a certain extent when we was young, and we didn't have this information. And our mothers and our fathers was trying to figure a way out of poverty, right? So somebody got to show these young black men what it looked like to get to the other side, man. To make it to a certain age, man. To get a wife, have a family, establish themselves, get some credit, get some property, be respected as a real man amongst the family, amongst the women, amongst the children. Somebody got to show them what it looked like to make it to the other side of poverty. Somebody got to show him, homie. And when you looking at little Zippy with the drippy, instead of being thankful for what his grandma left him, instead of being thankful for the little brownstone and a little bit of furniture, the pawn shop that his grandma left him, because the house that he lived in looked like a pawn shop. It looked like an antique shop. Instead of being blessed and thankful for that, you try and act like, homie, you trying to act like driving trucks is out of pocket. You trying to act like come on, man. Stop lying, bro. It's a false narrative. The podcast game is oversaturated, homie. And whoever's sponsoring your podcast, you are already in debt to them. So before you see $1, you're going to have to pay whoever paid for that podcast, whoever paid for that building you in, whoever paid for the seat and the microphone you using, you are already in debt. So you a worker, homie. So stop acting like you somehow out here about to edit, bruh. Somebody got to show them what the other side look like. That's why I show that $130,000 pool in my backyard. That's why I show certain things that I show. Who's showing these kids the other side? Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be, man. Listen, man, we about 2 hours in. You know what I'm saying? My wife just called me. I let her know I was on live with y'all. So I'm going to give y'all a couple more minutes. We're going to bounce this thing out. Y'all got about 18 more minutes with me. We gonna max this thing out at 2 hours. And then I'm going to get on the phone with my old lady and chop it up with my baby boy. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. But salute to everybody in the chat. You can't come to me. Again, that's why I say grown man business will always trump jail talk every time. Grown man business TV will trump jail talk every time. Because I don't respect no dude that smoke somebody that look just like him, and then when the boys in blue come, you bow down and you submit to the boys in blue, and then you go to jail for 18 years and you let the boys in blue make you raise your nuts and spread your cheeks, boy. You raised your nuts and you spreaded your cheeks for 18 years, and you talking about SMD, and you trying to explain to me, and you got all these other New Yorkers explaining to me how that's just how New Yorkers talk. Well, it's a lot of y'all that slide to the village late night. I know about New York. See, I told you, I'm not just one of these dudes that ain't never engaged and been in New York. I know about the village. You know about the village. Yeah. It sound like you be over there with the village people late night. Yeah. That's the only people I know that sound like they'd tell another man to SMD them. Is them village people. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Stand on business, man. Stand on grown man business at all times. You got to be able to, it gets deep, man. I could go hours about this, man. I never respected that. I'd rather have 22 solid people in my chat than 500 airheads any day. I'd rather have 22 solid people in my live chat than 800 airheads any day. Any day. 800 airheads in the live chat talking about zip top. Come on, man. And listen, I ain't trying to stop nothing. do your thing. I hope your podcast shoots to the moon. I hope your podcast does numbers. You understand me? But the deeper you go, the further you will be within the industry. The deeper you go, either you're going to play ball or they're going to wipe you out. So the game that you playing in the industry you dying to get in, you better think twice, boy. You better make sure you know what you're doing. One strike for you, you out of here. I'm sure. You just did 18. You ain't got another 20 in you, homie. You ain't got enough. See, I'm the difference. I'm the other side of this thing. Yeah, 800 jailbirds. Dudes don't know. Dudes ain't paid rent. Dude ain't paid a mortgage or a rent in 18 years. And you talking to me like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm not the average content creator, homie. I'm not one of these regular dudes. You know what I'm saying? You know, I pay good taxes. Me and my family pay good taxes. And you know, a portion of that tax money go to you jailbirds. I would suggest, if I had to say so, I would tell them, how about you take half of them taxes y'all send to jails and y'all put that through the black community. Let's make jail what it's supposed to be. It ain't supposed to be a cakewalk. Oh, I did 18 years. Yeah, it's a cakewalk. When you ain't paying no bills, you paying for canteen and tied the detergent pack so you can wash your clothes in the toilet. That's a cakewalk. Ain't nothing hard about doing jail time in America. There's no other country in this world that respects the American jail system. All the people that's in jail across the world would love to go to jail in America. That's how soft it is. So yeah, man, I was in there. Man, we don't respect that. We don't believe you. You need more people. We don't believe you, homie. You need more people. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Don't respect no jailbird, homie. You know, it's a dude that I got wind of some years ago. I'm not gonna get too deep into the story, but he stabbed, like, you know, him and his baby mom broke up. He stabbed his baby mama, stabbed the dude, killed the baby mama, killed the dude. He in jail. I was the one going against that. Dude's like, yo, man, you know, he killed. I don't care. That's not nobody. I don't respect nobodies like that. You snuck in that girl crib and stabbed her to death and stabbed the dude. Come on, man. You's a sucker. You's a sucker. You don't get no street. You don't get no stripes for doing stuff like that. But then when the police come, you hold your hands out and let them put handcuffs on you. Why you ain't do that with the police? You ever ask one of these dudes that? You so gangster, but you went to jail for 18 years. Why you ain't go to war with why you ain't do that with them boys in blue? Why you let them put handcuffs on you? Why you do that? We all know when you go to jail, they're going to make you lift your nuts and they're going to make you spread your cheeks. Why would you let them put handcuffs on you so you could go somewhere and let a man look down your cheeks, boy? You don't ever want to bump heads with a grown man. You don't ever want to bump heads with a grown man. That's the head of his family. That's the head of his household. That's the, yeah. I lay down the law. I lay down the law in my house, homie. Point blank, period. I lay the law down. Don't nobody follow you. Don't nobody listen to you. Don't nobody respect what you do. They laughing at you. I'm telling you, the majority of the people in homie live chat is not laughing with them. They laughing at them. Them shirts is getting dustier and dustier. Every live, them shirts is getting dustier and dustier, homie. Is what it is, and it'll be. I'm just having fun with it now. But, you know, my New Yorkers, man, y'all got to do better, man. There was a time when y'all were trendsetters. There was a time where everybody looked at y'all to for inspiration. The big city of dreams, the Big Apple. If you could make it in New York, you could make it anywhere. It was a time where we all looked at y'all in a certain light. And y'all disrespecting the legacy of New York City. That's why y'all feel like everybody is hating on y'all. You understand? Back in the day, you had to be able to rap to come out of New York City. Y'all let Tekashi diminish that. Y'all let Tekashi ruin that. The fabric of New York, the tradition. Y'all had a tradition. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be, man. Respectfully. Respectfully. Tekashi should have never even been an entity. He should have never been able to use the New York name in any way, shape, form, or fashion. When it comes to the gangs, Bloods and Crips should have never took over New York when y'all had your own gangs. I told y'all, look at the movie The Warriors. That movie, The Warriors, explains and shows what the gangs used to look like in New York. When did drill music become a thing in New York? That's a Chicago thing. The war in Chirac. There's no way that the old New York would have took anything from Chicago. Y'all would have did a song with Chicago. Y'all did songs with Twister, but you ain't hear y'all dudes trying to rap like Twister. That's a Chicago, that's their thing. Now y'all just biting everything y'all see. Back in the day, Outkast came to the Source Awards and they felt disrespected because New York was really New York back then. And Outkast got on the stage and Outkast said, "We from the South, man, and we got something to say." And if you would have asked Outkast back in those days, hey, do you think in 20 years, 30 years, New York will be rapping like they're from Atlanta? Outkast would have thought you was crazy. Big Boy would have told you, man, get out my face, man. This New York City, man. They don't rap like no Southern boys. These New Yorkers, man. They wouldn't have never believed one day in their life that New York, a dude from Brooklyn, would sound more like Future than Future sounds like Future. That's something that New York, something cast couldn't even predict it. Is what it is, it'll be what it's gonna be. New York, man. Respect Virginia. Respect these other cities and states that done put on for y'all and gave y'all an out, man. Gave y'all an out. Y'all ride skateboards, a skateboard P. Salute the Neptunes, man. Y'all want to cross over like Allen Iverson. Y'all always started wearing cornrows like Allen Iverson. Man, salute Newport News, Virginia. That 757. You got to respect that, boy. You got to respect that. And if you want to talk about the home of hip hop, ask how, if you let a Hassan Campbell expose that the whole Zulu nation was a bunch of Bonte boys. The whole Zulu nation was a bunch of homo thugs. That's what the Zulu nation was. So if you want to, they created hip hop. A bunch. So really, the LBGT, those dudes are the ones that created hip hop. You got to give that respect to them people. Nori ain't put, remember, Pharrell did the Rump Shaker song. Pharrell had hits before he met Nori. Pharrell was so established that when he met Nori, he told Nori what to do on that song that got Nori his first #1 hit. Nori said it out his own mouth. I came into the room, it was these guys with skinny jeans on and riding skateboards, and he's telling me how to do rap, and you know, I was one of the #1 rappers in the country, and I listened to him. And I'm so grateful that I listened to a VA artist. I'm just the one speaking on it. I'm just the one giving up the game on it. I'm just the one really talking about it. VA people, dudes from VA always, they feel like this. It ain't nobody saying this. When it come to battle rap, we got Big K and Av. Big K just, man, he just did Mook dirty. One of New York's greatest battle rappers. Big K did him dirty. Virginia, man. The respect, man, y'all. Listen, you gonna either respect it or you gonna check it. And you can't check it. Bloods and Crips, what's going on? That's a California Jerry Curl thing, y'all emulating, homie. Dave East, he had to go out to Cali and link up with Nipsey Hussle to become established, to become a real so-called Crip. Y'all followers, man. Y'all followers. And if Zippy with the Drippy saying he got to bring New York back, then that already let you know New York fell off. If y'all got to be brought back by somebody, then that let y'all know y'all wash like Tide detergent. Respectfully. I know my New York fans get mad when I talk like this. It ain't no hate, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta keep it 100 with you. I just gotta keep it real with you. Yeah, I gotta keep it 100 with you. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Exactly, bro. That's okay. Exactly, bro. Yeah. We gonna I'll use my last 5 minutes. We'll chop that up. But again, when I was youngsters, New York was 5%ers. We didn't know what I didn't know what no 5%er was, and New Yorkers came down and they explained this is what we the 5%ers, the gods and the earths. Oh yeah, the God is this, the earth is that, X, Y, and Z. Y'all done let all that go. All the New York traditions, y'all done let it go so y'all can follow other states and cities. New York, they went from gods and earths to Bloods and Crips. Facts. And they get mad at grown man business for pointing the finger. Showing love and pointing the finger. And man, like I said, we breed legends out of that Tide water. We breed legends out of that 757. And Av, salute my guy. That's my dog. I know Av personally. That's my dog. They know me. Big K, he know me. I'm heavy in the city. I'm trying to tell Zip, like, bro, I'm heavy in the city. And Av did clone filthy, man. Av, man, hey, all I'm gonna say, man, is stay in shape, my boy. Like, keep yourself in shape, man. You know what I mean? Get on that treadmill, make sure your wind is right. Because when you get these boys them bars, we want to hear them, homie. You did an amazing job finishing clone. I mean, did them dirty. I watched that battle last night. I just saw that battle last night. Crazy. Huh? And we've been doing this for years. We've been making legends for years. And I feel like I'm the only one from VA standing on business speaking like that, but that's okay. Listen, I ain't gotta tell them. I ain't gotta. Hey, listen. Listen what I'm saying to you. I ain't gotta tell the Zulu Nation nothing. Hassan Campbell done already put them on Front Street. Is what it is. And the crazy thing is, it's a lot of New Yorkers that's coming out saying, yo, everybody knew that the Zulu Nation was a bunch of fruitcakes. I got a video that I did about a couple months ago, right? That's explaining that. It's New Yorkers saying that grew up back in those days that's saying we all knew that the Zulu Nation was a bunch of fruitcake guys. We all knew what the Zulu Nation was, and the guys that didn't know hung out with the Zulu Nation, or they knew what they was doing. But we knew. In New York, gangsterism comes everywhere. New York is not the home of gangsterism. It was gangsters everywhere. It was gangsters in Cali. They had Jerry curls. It was gangsters down in Houston. It's gangsters in Virginia, homie. Killers. So even that right there just proves my point when I tell you how cocky New Yorkers used to be. Gangsterism started in New York. No, it didn't. Y'all, it was full with immigrants. Back in the days, it was the Italians and come on, man, y'all and the Irish boys. Y'all ain't start no gangsterism. Gangsterism ain't started in New York and it spread all over it was already here, man. Christopher Columbus and them boys came over here with gangsterism way before New York was even established. Christopher Columbus and them boys came over here and said, we taking this. Yeah, we gonna take this and then we gonna say that we found it, but y'all know we took this. We gonna take this. We gonna smoke everything walking. That's gangster. That's gangster. Y'all black dudes killing other black dudes ain't gangster. You don't get no respect for that. You would do something to another black man and then put your hands out when the boys in blue come or when the white man come. That's not gangster. So homie, where you at? Where you at? Roger Strong, huh? Y'all ain't create nothing. Y'all ain't start no gangster nothing. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Now listen, man, you already know where you at. This is Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? You can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the bricks into the bottles. Straight off the brick into the bottle. Straight raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoat nothing, and we not dressing nothing up. But NYC, I had to give it to you straight raw, my G. New York City, I had to give it to you straight raw. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, man. We 2 hours in. Salute. Tap in when you see the lives. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all those things. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Gang.